when we see his performance on Saturday, let's see how it plays out. But obviously, breaking the record, you keep grinding, you keep fighting, put your head down, just keep, fucking knocking guys down left and right. And then by the time you say, you know what, I'm done.
I don't think he has any plans of standing up and striking with him other than as a means to an end.
Yeah.
And his grappling is so high level. Islam's grappling right now is at the top of the food chain.
UFC 330. The biggest test of Islam Makhachev's career. He's moving up a weight class, chasing history. 17 straight wins, tied with Anderson Silva, against a guy who's louder, taller, and hungrier than anyone he's ever faced. Ian Garry says he's not scared.
Makhachev is not the fastest guy.
No.
But what he is he's imposing. He knows how to cut you off. That southpaw stance, I think, causes some problems for a lot of people. He's only lost, one time to the Adriano Martins with the head kick knockout?
A punch.
Was it a punch?
Yeah, he got punched.
Oh, I thought it was a head kick. But either way, I think Ian's going to have to look to something like that, see if there's maybe some of those old tendencies that punch was able to land. But that was also such a younger version of Islam. I just don't see him making those mistakes again.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
How does Ian win? He's going to have to point fight and sit on the outside and hope not to get tired going backwards the whole time.
Right.
And he got tired doing that against Carlos Prates. So this is a tough one for Garry. Can he get the upset? Of course, it's fighting. We just saw this with Gaethje and Topuria. But I would say Islam has the one shortcut way to win. Push him against the cage, take him down.
That's the blueprint everyone agrees on. Islam's shortcut is the clinch. But it's not just theory. One man in this list actually shared a cage with Islam Makhachev.
Islam actually got me down a couple of times where he'll just drop when I would like to do a step over. I like to do the step over, change stances and step overs and whatnot, because you can throw your opponent off. All of a sudden you went from orthodox to southpaw. Southpaw is going to give you a whole different group of dangerous tools. Orthodox here, you got your right hand, that's dangerous. Rear hand on this side, that's more dangerous. As soon as I change stance, now this is the rear hand, the complete opposite side. My knees, my rear knee, my rear kicks, everything completely changes. And sometimes you can rattle them. And it was, working a bit at the start. And then he done a great job of timing that later in the fight. You'll see him, I did a step over and he'll just dive straight at the hip. Get his head off center, the opposite side away from everything, and just go straight in at the hip. Reach down and go down. Did a great job of that.
That's what Ian Garry has to survive. But someone who's actually trained with Islam and fought Garry has a different read. It's not just about surviving. It's about controlling the pace.
Main event, Garry versus Islam. Obviously, I've been in there with Garry, trained with Islam. Let's break it down. Keys to victory for Islam. Islam's very good, right? He's good everywhere. He's smart. And they usually come in with a good game plan. So I think with Islam, it's all about cutting the cage off. Cutting the cage off, making Garry uncomfortable on his back foot, closer to the fence. And I think eventually it'll wear on Garry. Gary's very good at, sticking and moving, running, keeping the fight at a very slow pace. I think he does that because he knows he gets tired. He knows he gets gassed. He doesn't have one punch knockout power. So he'll stick and move, make you frustrated. And he doesn't care if it's just a boring fight. He doesn't care if it's a slow fight. He doesn't care if the crowd's booing, right? He knows that if he's hitting and not getting hit, he's winning. So for Islam, you got to cut the cage off. And when you enter, it has to be off of combos. Gary's very good at countering off of one punch. He'll wait for that one punch, lean back, come with a 1-2 or come with a cross over the top. He's taller, so he sees a lot. And when he kicks, he goes for that low calf kick. I think he's going to be attacking your lead leg since it's southpaw orthodox. He's going to be doing that stomp kick on there. So it's just lifting that knee up, checking it, picking it up, and then closing the distance when he does that. If you stay out of kicking range with him, it frustrates him.
So, if Garry can't out-wrestle him, what can he do? One analyst broke down the single most underrated rule in beating a wrestler.
But if Ian Garry can make it difficult on Islam, and more importantly, if Ian Garry gets up, you want to stop a wrestler from taking you down? Stand up 3 times. You get 3 escapes from any wrestler, he will stop trying to take you down. It's not worth it. It is too much effort and energy. If I get you down, just like a video game, I got to get a couple of real good breaths. I got to be able to hold you there as we play this little finesse game. I gotta control your hips just enough that eventually you sit backwards. If a guy is ever sitting up, somebody takes me down. Their head is right here. If I am sitting up, if my head is higher than his head, including if I'm the one that's down, if my head is higher than his head, I'm winning. And you know this position is conceded as soon as the guy lays back, puts his own head underneath the opponent's. That's who's on top. Who's on top is not who's on his butt, who's controlling the hips. That's a myth. The guy on top in MMA is whoever's head is higher. And if we see Ian Garry get there and we see him rock back to this position, this path that I talk about for Ian Garry is gone.
Even UFC Hall of Famer Dominic Cruz agrees. The fight isn't won on the ground. It's won on the feet before the takedown even happens.
So if Ian Garry can do that with the skills that he's already been practiced and sharpened on in his last 6 fights or whatever, and just keep that distance, that's an easier way to nullify wrestling than trying to counter wrestler the better wrestler. You focus on the distance. This is why I always focused on distance, range, feints, setups, footwork, and timing. Because I don't want to go head to head with a lot of these grapplers. They're comfortable there, even if I'm comfortable there. I don't want them comfortable. So Ian Garry wants to keep this an uncomfortable fight for Makhachev. And the easiest way to do that is stop the first 3 takedowns of every round and keep the distance where Ian Garry is comfortable and Makhachev wants to get closer. The more he can do that, the further away that Ian Garry can get ahead on the scorecards, I think. And on the other end, if Makhachev can take him down in the first 3 takedowns, it goes the other way.
And through all of this, Dana White himself was asked the biggest question of all. Is this Islam's moment to become the greatest of all time?
Last thing I did want to ask you about the UFC in Philadelphia this weekend. Big welterweight title fight there. A lot of debate. We were even debating it in here as you were walking in, where Islam stands if he wins. Obviously, he's got to get past Ian first, but there's a lot of discussion like, is this enough to be the greatest of all time? Are you looking at this as this is his moment to be the GOAT?
I don't think about that stuff until the fight happens. I mean, when we see his performance on Saturday, let's see how it plays out. But obviously, breaking the record, you keep grinding, you keep fighting, put your head down, just keep, fucking knocking guys down left and right. And then by the time you say, you know what, I'm done, then we all figure out where he ends up in the big picture.
Cage control versus distance control. History versus the underdog. Everyone in this breakdown agrees on one thing. This isn't a mismatch, it's a puzzle. And Saturday night, we find out who solves it. Drop your prediction below, Islam or Garry, and hit subscribe, because we'll be breaking down the result right after the fight.